As we have discussed earlier, that you have studied about what is the action of acetylcholine on motor end plate. Motor end plate means the NM type of receptor, that is neuromuscular receptor. Neuromuscular receptors or NM type of receptors, they are responsible for opening of sodium channels. Because of that, it causes opening of voltage gated ion. Because of that, it crosses threshold potential. Because of crossing threshold potential, it causes the opening of channels for calcium. Thus calcium comes to intracellular fluid, and it binds with the actin myosin. Because of binding with the actin myosin, there is a contraction. This is what the mechanism you people have studied in physiology of muscle contraction. And also in the beginning of acetylcholine, that is how the NM receptor is there. It is a simple ion channel receptor. It is very fast, therefore as soon as acetylcholine binds, it causes. Then one thing I ask you about, what do you know about muscle tone? We have discussed yesterday also in earlier class that muscle tone is very important. Muscle tone is a partial contraction. Partial contraction is responsible. It is something, it is put into middle, so that if some muscle has to be, and for every movement you might have studied, we have got some muscle which are contracting and some are relaxing. So for every movement, some muscle has to contract, some muscle has to relax, and therefore this partial contraction helps into do this. From that partial contraction, it becomes easier for that muscles to relax or to decrease the tone, and it becomes easy to go for more contraction. So depending on the need, the contraction and relaxation that is taking place, and therefore it is a partial contraction of a muscle, or a particular maintenance of some of the muscle contraction. We call it as a tone of muscle. So it is very very important. Now we can understand this thing. If the muscle tone is less than required, then for contraction it will take more time, because just like you put the thing exactly in the middle, in the center, okay, and you have got suppose you have got a building, okay, and in building there is a 10 floor building. So when you are on the fourth floor or fifth floor, those who want to go down can go down easily, those who want to go up can go from that. Now suppose in this 10th floor building, if somebody is either going to 10th floor directly, or if somebody is at lower floor. So those who is in 10th floor, for that going to the ground floor is a difficult. Those which are there on a ground floor, for them to go on top floor is a difficult. Okay, so this is how partial contraction or the muscle tone helps. So as I told you, in most of the muscular movements, some of the muscle has to be contracted, some of the muscle has to be relaxed, and until and unless this relaxation, and further, for every movement, we cannot have that movement fixed or freezed, because you try with that after doing some movement, or if you are writing with a pen, or you are speaking, so all these muscles are continuously contracting and relaxing. Because if they are not relaxing, then somebody will remain in the same position for a long time, okay, which is not possible, or which is very difficult, which can be more troublesome. So thus maintaining a muscle tone, maintaining that particular proper uh, balance between contraction and relaxation is very important. You understood this concept. This is a very important concept to understand the next kind of situation. Okay, this is clear to you, what is muscle tone, what is the importance of muscle tone, and how it is maintained that always acetylcholine is secreted at motor end plate, and because of its secretion at motor end plate, that is in either in a smaller amounts, it is maintaining partial contraction. So whatsoever number of actin myosin fibers are there, all are not simultaneously taking part, and therefore They are only doing, suppose there are just 20 actin myosin filaments, that at a given time 5 6 are contracting, and these are not same are contracting, they are relaxing, others are contracting, like that. So this partial contraction is maintained in this way, that one by after it is there, therefore we cannot sense this, but at the same time it is very clear, and every time acetylcholine comes it is immediately metabolized. We have seen the enzymes are there, acetylcholine esterase, and it will be causing metabolism of it. So that is a continuous process. It is not that it is doing once a while and it will make the change. It is a continuous process, and because of this continuous process the muscle tone is maintained. Okay, this much is clear, this much is understood. Fine. So let us see what happens to motor and plate again, because we have seen it earlier, and then we can have the uh, changes, or what happens we shall see. Okay, so this is the nerve. It is having a myelin sheath, etc. The nodes of Ranviers are there. You know, conduction takes place from one node to other node. There it is very fast transmission, because suppose you have studied the reflexes. Okay, so reflex is a instantaneous response to the painful stimuli. Some, if there is a pain or there is a hot surface, within fraction of second you remove the part of body which is in contact with that painful stimuli. Why this happen? Because it is so fast that the impulse goes to spinal cord and immediately it comes to the motor neuron. From sensory neuron immediately it forms the loop in spinal cord and it comes to motor neuron. So what is the job of motor neuron? So we call it as a motor end plate, therefore it is a part of the end of motor neuron. So the motor neuron comes in motor neuron, it immediately release acetylcholine. Acetylcholine will cause contraction of some muscle, and at some places that acetylcholine whatsoever is releasing, that will be decreased from, because of the impulses. Okay, the impulses which are going to that area will be stopped, and because of this two type of things simultaneously happening, this uh, muscles will cause contraction and relaxation, and because of contraction and relaxation there will be very fast movements, and because of that the person will remove the part of body from that painful object. So how much time it takes, you know about it. It is a fraction of second before somebody can realize, even less than a second. So before one can realize the person is there, then it comes about what is it was, whether it was pain or whether it was hot surface or whether it was even somebody even uh, feel about some animal creature like that which is toxic, even if it can be a rope, still the action is faster. So this is why, because immediate release of acetylcholine and immediate action of acetylcholine, because here acetylcholine does not use any second messenger. Acetylcholine is directly acting on motor end plate, and because of acting on motor end plate, it is causing what? Immediately opening of the channels, and all this process what I told you, that it will be taking place. So this is how the situation is there. This is node of Ranvier's. The Schwann cells are there, and this is the terminal. That is the axon terminus. What we can say, that is the subneural space, or that is space between the muscle. And from this terminal membrane, there are post-junctional membranes. The receptors are there for skeletal muscle. In the muscle, there are mitochondria. There is a sarcoplasm, or sarcoplasm means cytoplasm of muscle. We call it as sarcoplasm. There are endoplasmic reticulum in muscle. We call it as a sarcoplasmic reticulum. From sarcoplasmic, there are myofibrils which are responsible, actin, myosin, Z fiber, S bands, everything which you know about. They are present and they are responsible for the sliding movement. So what happened that whenever there is uh, any kind of action is there, uh, there is always action potential is generated in now. Okay, because of the action potential generated, calcium will come in. We have seen this mechanism. Calcium comes in the pre synaptic neuron. This presynaptic neuron will cause release of acetylcholine. This acetylcholine will cause the changes in the nicotinic receptor. Because of the nicotinic receptor, there will be opening of sodium potassium channels to increase in the permeability. It will become more positive. Because of the more positive, it will cause bringing in calcium and it will cause muscle contraction. Okay, second thing is simultaneously, immediately, whatsoever acetylcholine has bound, that will be metabolized by the acetylcholine esterase, and new acetylcholine will able to act. Okay, so that is a very constant happening cycle. We have got various drugs which can affecting each phase of that. Example of that, teratotoxin and other toxins are there, and local anesthetic agents are there. They are able to block the nerve action potential, so nerve action potential will not be there, and because of that nerve conduction will not be there. Then next we have got the drugs which can affect the vesicular acetylcholine release. We have seen all these agents when we have seen varicosity of acetylcholinergic neuron. So in that we have seen that how hemicholinum, then botulinum toxin, then magnesium, then 4-aminopyridine, then decrease in the calcium concentration can affect it. Then next we have seen, then next step is the depolarization, that is the action of sodium, etc. Then again we have got curare alkaloids, that is ducuberarine, etc. We call them as a nicotinic receptor blockers. They are NM receptor blockers. Specifically, NM receptor blockers are there. So these NM receptor blockers will be doing job. Then another agents are there like succinyl, choline, and decamethonium. They will also affect this situation. How? That is interesting, because they are agonist, while the D-tubocurarine, etc., they are antagonist. So how this is happening? That is very interesting, and this is where we are having a classification of the drug to what we call as a depolarizing and polarizing type of agents. Okay, then next in that is uh, the drugs are there which are acting on muscle action potential. So those which are affecting calcium, they can do the inhibition. While if there is increase in the calcium, that will be helping to have more contractions. Spread of excitation in muscle. So there are uh, if you know that muscle to muscle contraction will be there, one after other muscle will be contracting, and this is uh, can be blocked because of the some of the metabolic poisons, or decrease in the extracellular calcium, or the agent which can block the release of calcium from the endoplasmic reticulum. So these are various agents which are acting at one or other stage. We are concentrating more on only on two types of classes which we have seen. Example are curare alkaloids, or snake toxins, and succinylcholine and decomethinium. Both are having totally opposite action, but they are doing the job in similar fashion, and therefore we classify them into two things. We call it as a uh, polarizing and depolarizing skeletal muscle relaxants. Okay, now let us see what can be the effect they can have. If for this, I already told you that you should be aware about the action potential thing. You should be aware about the term which is called as a uh, refractory period. Anybody knows what is refractory period? No one studied last year CNS. Have you studied impulse conduction last year? Have you studied EPSP, IPSP? No? Then we'll stop here today. And what you will do is you will learn this whole topic of CNS and skeletal muscle again. Okay, tomorrow I'll ask questions. I want answers on first CNS, how the impulse conduction takes place. What do you mean by EPSP? What is mean by IPSP? Which are the factors responsible for EPSP? What are the factors which are responsible for IPSP? Okay, what do you mean by refractory period? What is the absolute refractory period? Okay, and what is the temporary refractory period or transient refractory period? What happens in the refractory period? Okay, because until and unless you understand this term, it will not possible for you to understand the things in detail. Therefore, I have given all these things in advance. I'm not happy with this. That despite telling you, people are not reading the basic things which has been already told. So I want that you have discussed it, and I want to see it on WhatsApp group that you have discussed. You know about it. I'll go through the WhatsApp and then I'll conduct, or otherwise I'll do it very fast tomorrow. I'll finish it off. That what kind of drugs are present, and I can immediately tell. But without that, you will not understand. I want that you should know the basic things. Okay, once you understand the basic properly, then it is easy to understand what it is there. It has been already told to you people that these are the things which are very, very much required. What do you mean? So many times you have used the word IPSP and EPSP, and then you said that you don't know, then it's not good thing. So you have studied neuron last year, anatomy, physiology, you have studied central nervous system, you have studied basic function of neuron, yes or no? Have you studied or not?